This is the Unit 1, the Alphabet and Grammar of Geometry. Preview video 1.3, the language geometry. Sit tall in your seat. Ready? In through your nose. Inhale. Deep breath, hold. Birthday candle 5. Close your eyes. Ready? Inhale. Hold for 3. Exhale 5. One more time. Ready? In through the nose. Inhale. Hold for 3. Exhale 5. Sit there quietly, drop your shoulders. Eyes are still closed. Deep breath. Smile. I love this particular lesson. Before you do this, if you haven't enrolled in the anonymous text for this school year, please do so. Get out your cell phone and text to 81010 at 278AF3G. Pause the video, do that. All right. I love this lesson. And this is by far my favorite lesson of the year. Why? Because I get to introduce you to what makes geometry so very unique, because it is its own language. Language communicates thoughts and ideas, and geometry is a type of language. Good news for you, it's a very simplistic language. It only has 5 letters. Don't forget date, time, location, as well as a parental or teacher sign-off. All right, before we do that, we're going to review a little bit. Once again, when you do the review, I want you to work on your own. Get out your pencil, please. Pause the video. All right, welcome back. You should have your red pen now, and you are correcting your work. You are welcome to put this in double time in order to speed up the correction process. So on the left, we're going to collect like terms. I'm going to underline my variables, double underline my numbers. That's 1 minus 5, that's -4. I like to cross stuff out as we do it. 4 plus x plus 4x is 5x. On the right-hand side, we are going to circle, distribute, -2x. And instead of plus -2, I'm just going to go -2. That's easier. -2. And then this is a -1. Circle and distribute. That's going to be -8. Double negative makes a positive 5x. And collect like terms on the right. And that's going to be 3x minus 10, -4 plus 5x. You want to get your x's to one side, your variables to the other. So I have -4 plus 2x equals -10. Add 4 both sides. I have 2x equals -6. X equals -3. All right, slow it back down in real time. Key terms today: point, line, ray, angle, plane, something called dimensions. As you know, the English language has 26 letters. Geometry only has 5, and they're all visible right here. We're going to draw it right on here. Here's your quick recap of 5 of the geometry letters. The first one is a point, which means a position in space. A line, go ahead and draw that at the back side of the table. Pretend it's the edge of the back of the table, but theoretically that visual line goes infinity in every direction. Point, line. Segment. Segment would look something like this. From a point to a point, and it has 2 endpoints. That's a segment. A ray, like a flashlight. The light in a flashlight has a beginning and the light goes in one direction. That's a ray. Plane. Think of a plane as basically any flat surface, 2D flat surface. So that tabletop. Behold, there are your 5 geometry letters. But before we talk about letters, we need to first talk about the concept of dimensions. We live in a world of 3 dimensions. Sometimes the 4th dimension is considered time. So in one way, we live in 4 dimensions because we live within time versus God, who exists outside of the realm of time. So what is dimension? The first dimension is the simplicity of length, things that only have length. So if I am measuring the length of a string, okay, and I say that string has 10 centimeters in length, the length of the string is 1 dimension. The second dimension is length and width together. So that would be the concept of area. Any flat surface that has area, all right? So just kind of shade an area there. Think of the area of a soccer field, the area of a football field, anything you can shade. Anything that's going to be squared units. So if I wanted to find, let's say, the area of a piece of paper, and it is approximately 8 inches by 11 inches, then that would have the area of 88 inches squared. You use squared units for the second dimension. That is area. Something that has length, width, and height. Essentially, anything you can get your physical hands on is 3 dimensions. So this bottle here is in 3 dimensions. And of course, that's going to relate to a volume. And if I were to we were to draw a cube here, and each edge length of this cube was 2 centimeters. I wanted to find the volume of the cube, and all the edges were of equal length. That's what those little tick marks mean, of equal length. The volume of a cube is length times width times height. So that's 2 times 2 times 2, or 2 cubed, hence the word cubed. And that would be 8 centimeters cubed. So 1 dimension, singular units, 2 dimensions, squared units, 3 dimensions, cubed units. Length, 1 dimension, area, 2nd dimension, volume, 3rd. Now I'm going to introduce you to your 5 letters of geometry. It's very important that you pay attention to the notation because notation makes a difference. So right here, a point Ta-da, there's a point. Okay? It technically neither has length, width, nor height. The symbol for a point. We use capital letters, must be capital, to represent all points. So if you see a capital letter in a diagram, it means there's a point there. Remember, you must use capital letters, not lowercase. So draw a capital A, draw a lowercase a, cross out the lowercase a. A point in space has no length, no width, no height. It is therefore 0 dimensions. So right here, this says to draw a point R. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to try to draw that all by your lonesome. Ready? Just try it. Get your pencil out. Oh, it's fine to be wrong. 10. Point R. Looks like this, friends. Point R, capital letter. Ta-da! That is our first letter. 1 down, 4 to go. A line. A line is a single dimensional object that goes infinity both directions. It's all the points on a single string, if you will, infinity in both directions. Now, how do we name lines? So I'm going to put some points on here. You have to have a minimal of 2 points to name a line, a minimal of 2 points, because you need a point kind of to start with and 1 to have direction. So I can have A here, I have B, put T here. All right. We name lines by using 2 points and only 2 points. Okay, so I could call this line AB. That would be its symbol, and I can put little arrows on it. Or, just to mess with your brain, you can go the other way because it's the same both ways, BA. Or I could use TB. Make sure you have arrows above it. That means I'm still naming the same line because of those arrows, infinity in every direction. So AB would look like this, infinity both ways. Ta-da! BA would look like this, infinity both directions. Ta-da! Same line. TB, infinity both directions. Ta-da! Same line. So you only need 2 letters. No matter how many letters are on the line, you only need 2 of them in order to name the line. So what do you want to remember? Because I'm going down this column here. Remember, you want to remember that to name a line, you must have 2 capital letters, the little arrows, and they must be capital, not lowercase, because points are always uppercase. Now, just to mess with you, you can name a line using a lowercase cursive or italics at the end point. So if I have ATB here, but it's not a point. That's the difference. It names the entire line. So for example, I could have a lowercase cursive T, and it goes either end, right at the arrows, and I could call it line T. And it could be at either end, cursive at the arrows. A line only has 1 dimension. So it only has length. All right. You now have 20 seconds, just 20. I'd like you to draw a line, EG, and draw a line, G. Notice the notation. You got 20 seconds, go. All right. Now, it does not matter which way you tilt the line. You can tilt it this way, or you could be totally flat. But you must have capital letters, EF, just to mess with you. You need to know that you can go the other direction. All of those would be accurate. Line G, because I'm naming the whole line, it's lowercase, cursive either side. So you could do it like that. At the arrow, has to be right at the arrow, lowercase. That's the notation for lines. A segment. A segment is simply a piece of a line. So it's a piece that has an end point. Watch. There you go. It is the piece of a line that connects 2 points. So here, if I have PQ, the symbol for that segment would be this. Because it's the same both directions, it doesn't matter the letter order. Notice there's no lines, there's no arrows, because it has an end point. Segment, you must use capital letters with the segment symbol above it. A segment also only has length. So therefore, it is one dimension only. Ready? I like you to draw a segment, HJ, and draw a segment, JH. Ready? 10 seconds, go. Guess what? You can draw this exact same thing with only one segment. Draw a segment HJ, draw a segment JH. So I know HJ, you would read it going this way. JH, you would read it going that way, but guess what? It's the same segment. Doesn't matter because they're both endpoints in both directions. Now, array. Array has an endpoint and then goes infinity in one direction. Endpoint, infinity in one direction. We name rays, regardless of the direction they face, we name rays first by the endpoint, then by the arrow point. First by the endpoint, then by the arrow point, regardless of the direction. So this ray here, I'm going to color code it for you, and this ray here. Okay. Now, regardless of the direction it faces, the symbol for ray would be like this. You start with the end point, then you go to the arrow point, and you put a little baby ray right above it. And that does, the symbol will face to the right, even if the ray itself faces to the left. So PQ would be correct. Here, our end point is H, our arrow point is J, little baby arrow. What do I want you to remember? Here, order does matter. So that blue ray would be incorrectly labeled, if you did this, if you started with Q and then went to P, that would be incorrectly labeled because that is saying that Q is the end point and it's not. So write QP and then put a little don't do it symbol. Same thing with the red. Since H is the end point, if you did JH like this, that is also incorrect. Array also only has one dimension, therefore it is 1D. It just has length. All right, ready. I'd like you to try these two on your own. All right, you're going to draw array PQ. You're going to draw array QP. Ready? 10 seconds. All right, PQ, P must be the endpoint, Q must be the arrow point, or you could have gone the other direction, totally fine. Should have used different letters above, I gave that one away. But a QP ray, the end is Q and the arrow point is P. So notice the difference in the order here. Order does matter for a ray. It doesn't on a segment or a line. Plane. A plane is any flat surface. And what you really need to understand right off the bat is every shape you've learned over the years, all shapes are planes. Okay, a triangle is a plane. Square is a plane. A rectangle is a plane. A pentagon is a plane. Hexagon is a plane. Anything that could conceivably have area, you could shade it. All of these are planes. Every single one of them. Anything that has area is a plane. Now, traditionally, we model planes like a piece of paper because it's just something you can easily get your hand on. So those of you in 3D art, you know, if you're drawing like a piece of paper, but trying to make it look 3D, we tilt it a little bit. So more often than not, in geometry, you're going to see planes like this. Kind of a tilted parallelogram that represents depth. We name planes one of two ways. So this is really critical. We label the corners of the plane, and you must go clockwise or counterclockwise with your lettering. So clockwise would look like this. Let me just show you. Let's say I put a A here. Then I would go around the clock to the right. I'd put B here, C here, D there. That would be clockwise. Or I could go counterclockwise, which would be around this way. So just for giggles, I could put my A here. It doesn't matter where you start it, but I can go around, B here, C here, and D here. Around, very important. You're going to get things wrong in the future if you don't remember this. You got to go around the edges. What you cannot do, watch, what I'm about to do is incorrect. Don't follow me. Don't follow, just watch. Watch. ABCD will not work. And that is because it is zigzag. You do not label planes with a zigzag orientation. Watch A, B, C, D. Let me put my highlighter on here so you can see why that's wrong. A, B, C, D. That's a zigzag labeling. You do not zigzag label. So to properly label this, I'm going to follow. You can go clockwise. You can go counterclockwise. I'm going to go clockwise here, A, B, C, D. Got it? Okay. Clockwise or counterclockwise. No zigzag labeling. The symbol for a plane. We use a minimal of 3 points to name a plane. So I can name, or you can name all 4. I can name this plane just with the word plane. And I can call it ABC. I could call it plane BCD. Okay, if it annoys you not to have all four and you're seeing four, you can call it plane A, B, C, D. All of that works. Or we name planes by a single cursive or italic letter in the upper right-hand corner. And you have to make it italic or cursive in order to distinguish it from points. So notice I'm using printing for my corner points. But if I want to name this entire plane, I can do so like this. Watch. It's kind of an italic R there in the upper right-hand corner only. It's not on the edge because it's not a point. It's just tucked in the corner. So I could call that plane R. Okay, what do I want you to remember? Super important. You label the corners clockwise or counterclockwise. A plane has both length and width. Therefore, of our letters, if you will, it is 2 dimensions because you could shade the plane. All right, I actually have 3 things here, and I'm going to do this one with you. I'm not going to have you try it on your own. It's a little bit more complicated. So it says draw a plane EFGH. Notice the order. So I'm going to make it like a tilted, slanted paper to make it 3D-ish. Does not matter where that E starts. What does matter is I go clockwise or counterclockwise. So I'm going to do clockwise in blue. I could go like this, E, F, G, H. Or I could go counterclockwise. I'm going to do that in green. E, I could go like this, F, G, H, using capital letters. On the right-hand side, it says draw plane R. Notice the R is cursive italic. So there's my plane and cursive italic in the corner. It says draw plane HIJK intersecting at JKLM. You're like, uh-oh, now I got 2 planes going on here. What's happening? So look very, very carefully. We have HIJK, JKLM. Look and ask yourself, what letters are repeated here? What letters are repeated? So there's a K here, a K there. There's a J here and a J there. Repeat after me. Same letter, same point. Let me show you what I mean. It's helpful if you learn to model this stuff. So I'm going to model it with these 2 pieces of paper. So first I have HIJK. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to label this point here. We'll pretend it's off the edge, but just because I'm working on paper, I'm going to bring it inside I'm going to go clockwise, J and K. Then I have JKLM. J, K, L, M. All right, same letter, same point. How can I have these intersecting? Well, it is because you're going into 3 dimensions. Watch HIJK, JKLM. See these 2 guys? The K and the J are going to meet, and we're actually going to be drawing in 3 dimensions. It's going to be hinged, and it's going to be hinged at KJ. Why? Because KJ is shared by both the planes. Again, let me just give you another perspective. We are going into a three-dimensional drawing because the same letters are going to be the same points. So watch carefully. So I have H, I, J, K intersecting J, K, L, M. J, K, there's J and K again, same letter, same point. I'm going to angle it because I'm going into 3D. J, K, L, M. Ta-da! The minute you have multiple planes, just give you a heads up. Whenever you have more than one plane, you're going to be going into a three-dimensional drawing. Now, there's a couple key phrases before we get into our geometric sentences. And geometric sentences are drawings. Collinear means on the same, not plane. Linear means line. Co means together. So collinear means on the same line. Coplanar means on the same plane. So here, if I have a line, I have the points H, I, and J. They are collinear. H, I, and J are collinear on the line. Let's give it a name, M. Now here, coplanar, H, I, and J are not collinear here. They're not on the same line, but I could put them on the same tabletop, if you will, a plane. I can name that plane uppercase cursive M. Collinear, same line, coplanar, same plane. Now, as we get into geometric sentences, I got to teach you how to read in this class. When you read in this math class, you will not simply read with your eyeballs. You will read with 3 body parts 3 times. Let me show you what I mean by that. You read with 3 body parts 3 times. I'm going to model it. You read with your finger on the paper, your eyes on the words, and your lips moving, speaking out loud. 3 body parts. You're going to do it 3 times. You read it once like that. Then, second time around, you go back and filter, underline, or highlighting keywords. Third time around, you cross out the key parts as you account for them in a diagram, drawing and labeling a diagram. So 3 body parts, 3 steps. I'm going to model that right now with you. All right, so here we are. I'm working on physical paper, so it's easy for you to model what I'm doing. Step 1, put your finger on this paper. Read out loud. I'm going to mouth it so I don't speak over you, but I want to hear your voice as you speak. Ready? Out loud, read. So you should have had voice come out of your mouth. Okay, now you filter. So take your pencil, or if you have a highlighter, we're going to highlight all the key words. Look for those 5 letters. We have a plane. We have a coplanar line, PR, a collinear Q between P and R, draw a coplanar ray, PT, and a ray, another ray, MQ. There's all our key buzzwords and our vocabulary. We're going to take it one step at a time. Draw a plane H. So that's a tabletop. Plane H. Cursive, uppercase. Watch what I do. I cross it out as I account for stuff. Draw a coplanar line. Coplanar means on the same plane, with a collinear Q between the points P, same letters, same point. So that P and that R. So I'm going to draw a line. Doesn't matter which way you tilt it, must have arrows. I'm going to put P and R here. Q is between them. Very important. Never put a point exactly in the middle unless I call it the midpoint. I don't call it a midpoint. So I'm going to offset Q, and it's between P and R. I took care of that. I took care of that. Draw a coplanar ray, PT. Notice the P is the end point. T is an arrow. So P is the end point. It does not matter whether I go this way or this way, but it's coplanar, which means it's on the plane, PT, array, and MQ. Be very, very careful. M is the end point. So you must start array at a point off of the line. And we're going through Q because Q is your arrow point. Behold, this is a geometric sentence. Good job. We're going to do a couple more of these. Now, this one, I want you to try on your own. You're going to read 3 times. First time, lips, finger, and eyeballs. So you read out loud. Then, second time, highlighter, underline your key words and phrases. Then, third time, take those key words and phrases, put in a diagram. Do this on your own. Pause the video. Welcome back. You're welcome to put this on double time if you want, because we're correcting. Get out your red pen. Get ready to make note what you did right. I'm gonna model 3 body parts. Draw a plane EFGH intersecting FGJK at FG. Draw in plane HGJT. Points F, W, X, and J are collinear on a line Q, which is also coplanar with FGJK. If you get this right, you got serious props, because this was very challenging. So let's check this out. First off, hopefully you noticed we've got 3 planes. 1, 2, 3. You should have paid attention to the letters that overlap. EFGH, FGJK. So I have F and G, F and G overlap. And then we have another overlap. Here, we have GH here and GH there. There's another overlap. So what that means is we're going to have 3 planes going into like a Q. So I'm going to start EFGH. EFGH. There's our plane. Cross it out. Now we have FGJK. FG, go down, J, K. And we intersect at segment FG, which we got right there. Draw on a plane HGJT, same letter, same point. HGJ T. Ta-da! We're working ourselves into a box. It says points F, W, X, J are collinear. So notice F is right here. J is right there. Collinear means there's a line between them. And we have additional points, W and X, on those lines. We're going to call that line Q. You got a lot to correct, a lot to make notes. Get out your red pen, give it a shot. So the English alphabet consists of 26 letters. Geometry alphabet only comes in 5. They are point, when you put these together, you get geometric words, if you will. Just like you put letters together, you get words. Your first geometric word is going to be an angle. An angle consists of 2 rays hinged at a common end point. So 2 rays, so they have an end point, and they share the same endpoint. Behold, you now have what we call an angle. That is a geometric word. You got 2 letters. So I'm going to draw an angle, EFG. So I start with an endpoint, an array, endpoint, and array. This is really important. You understand how to label. That center letter is this common hinge point. It's also known as a vertex. So that's very important. You put that in the right place. So that center letter is always going to be the hinge point. Does not matter which direction E and F is. So I could put E down here, put F up there. Excuse me, not F, G. Whoops. Undo that. This is G here. F is the hinge point. G goes there. So when we do, I could label this pencil here. You trace dot to dot, E, F, G. Ta-da! And sweep the angle. Just get in the habit. Trace and sweep. I could also call this angle. Watch, put your pen on G. Go from G, F, E, trace and sweep. So the direction doesn't matter which ray point you use. What does matter, watch very carefully, is F is still the middle point. So I can go either direction. Or I could toss a number inside the mouth here, tiny little number there, and I can call it by that angle. So we can call it angle 1. Ta-da! It's like a shortcut. This is very, 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 very important. Whenever you label angles, you should always do trace and sweep. I'll demonstrate that. Trace and sweep. I'm going to be color coding stuff here. So you want to, if you can color code with me. Trace and sweep. A, C, D. And I'm going to do this in blue. Angle A, C, D. Trace and sweep. So ACD is going to be in blue. ACD. Ready? Watch. Put your pen on A. We're going to go to C, down to D, trace and sweep. That would be the angle ACD. Trace and sweep. Notice C is the center letter and C is where we swept. Now using green, I'm going to do FCE. Follow along. F, put your pencil on F, go to C and E, trace and sweep. That be that angle right there. F, C, E. Let me do it here as well. All right, so ACD would look like this. A, C, D, trace and sweep. F, C, E, F, C, E, trace and sweep. D, A, B. Angle D, A, B. Start at D, you're going to go to A and then B. So D, A, B, trace and sweep. That would be angle D, A, B. Let me show you here. Angle D, A, B, trace and sweep. Last one, D, G, E. D, G, E. Start at D, go to G and E, trace and sweep. That would be that angle right there. D, G, E, trace and sweep. Now, translating written words into spoken words sometimes can seem difficult. Why is that? Okay, and that's because most of your written word mechanics part of your brain, most of it is going to be on the left side of your brain hemisphere, your left. Your visualization of those words is predominantly in the right. So you are crossing what's called this middle part of your brain, which is called the corpus callosum. It's like the superhighways between the two brain halves. So you're literally, when you're taking words and making pictures out of them, you're using more brain cells than you're used to using. That's why geometry is so very powerful, because you're going to learn how to visualize written and spoken words using a language to describe the physical and visual world. And they're going to be key skills in geometry, very key skills. We're going to try 2 more problems here. I know this is a longer lesson. You're doing great. Our last 2 here. Do this in real time with you. Ready? Put your finger on the paper. We read with 3 body parts: lips, eyeballs, and finger. Out loud, read. On a plane WXYZ, draw a segment EF on plane WXYZ, intersecting a line BC at point H. Trace and sweep BHE. Now, phase 2, filter. We've got a plane. We have a plane WXYZ. So plane, we're gonna make it a tabletop. Cross it out. Draw a segment on that plane. EF, a segment. Doesn't matter which way we tilt it. But what does matter is capital letters. And you're going to intersect a line BC at point H. So we have a line, capital B, capital C, at. They're intersecting at H. Trace and sweep BHE. So this is what BHE would be. BHE, trace and sweep. Ta-da! There's an angle. You try this one on your own. Pause the video. Welcome back. I hope you pause the video. Now get your red pen out. Get ready to correct. You can put it in double time. 3 body parts, 3 times. I'm going to read. Draw a plane Q with coplanar line AB. Also a coplanar segment JK intersects line AB at point R. Trace and sweep KRB angle. So filter. We have a plane Q, coplanar line AB. You have another segment JK intersecting AB at R. Trace and sweep this angle. All right. We have a plane Q. Now, funny thing about Q, you can make kind of an italics like Q, or some of you who are all that know your cursive Q looks like that. I'll take either. Coplanar on the line AB, capital letters, arrows. Coplanar segment JK intersects AB. Doesn't matter if you switch those. Intersecting at R. Trace and sweep KRB. Trace and sweep KRB. Fabulous job. Now, summarize 3 of the key points from today's lesson. Good job.